Mario Kart 8 Deluxe got DLC in 2022 and 2023, adding a whopping 48 tracks to the game. And since you guys, kinda made me shit myself because you all are greedy money-grabbing pieces of shit, I'm looking at the tracks added to the game from the Booster Course Pass and seeing if they could make a sustainable profit from a business perspective. Am I qualified for this? Yes. That was a f***ing lie. I have 2 half-eaten sandwiches next to me, of course I'm not qualified. Now, if you're stupid or missed the first video, profitable simply means that it can consistently make money. I had 2 criteria in the video when I covered the main tracks. The tracks would have to be important in the real world and have to have been sustainable enough to make a profit at all times of the year. However, I'm adding a 3rd piece of criteria. Loopholes cannot affect a track's profitability. Again, I'll be looking at everything visible on the track, so if something's not visible, it won't be taken into account. So yeah, let's make some more money! The Golden Dash Cup starts with Paris Promenade. This track is based on a real-life city of Baguette Land, which has the largest number of tourists each year. The Eiffel Tower and other French attractions have a paid entry fee, which is a major source of income. There are also many different buildings with businesses, and with the Olympics this year, it's definitely profitable. Toad Circuit is the DLC's version of an F1 track. Oh hey, he didn't win. There is an entry fee and a large number of fans who watch the race. However, this track falls short of being profitable as it is not used throughout the whole year, which makes it only profitable during the racing season. Choco Mountain is a massive supply of chocolate. However, in the real world, this chocolate would expire. There is also a small lake, but it's not big enough for a commercial scale. However, there are large quantities of diamonds which could be sold to give my boy Diddy Kong a large profit. Coconut Mall is a f***ing mall with many different shops that could cure Toad's gambling addiction. There's also a parking fee, making this track quite profitable. The Booster Course Pass started off really well, with only 1 unprofitable track. But which other tracks would be profitable in the DLC? Let's take a look. The Lucky Cat Cup starts in Japan's Tokyo Blur. There are many high-rise buildings with thriving businesses that focus a bit too much on anime. Japan also has Nintendo's Corporation, and they're seemingly profitable. There's also a toll to get onto the freeway, and the roads are very well maintained, barring these guys. Unlike Toad's Turnpike, Shroom Ridge would not be profitable. I mentioned last video that oil costs play a role in whether a track is profitable or not. Shroom Ridge is far from society, meaning that the river's water supply would not be profitable. The cliff faces also have no resources to produce. Sky Garden is in the clouds, and last I checked, no businesses can float in the clouds. There's absolutely nothing to produce up here. But Ninja Hideaway is interesting. I don't know much about dojos as I'm not from Japan, but it should be treated as a form of schooling. The only issue is that there seemingly aren't enough students attending, making it unprofitable right now. I didn't actually realize Nintendo's obsession with the country. Weird. The TurnUp Cup starts with New York Minute. NYC is known to be more overpriced than Nintendo Sports, which gives it a large revenue. There are many high-rise buildings, smaller shops, and even theaters where Donkey Kong can dance onto the stage and bust some moves. From the track rendition, it shows the most complete city thus far. Mario Circuit. Oh yeah, there's a 3 in the name. It's an empty racetrack in the middle of nowhere. There are few viewers and there's no paid entry. There's literally no source of income in this track. Calamari Desert has public transport in the form of a train, but it just loops around and doesn't travel anywhere. The track is also in the middle of nowhere, and there's not a single product to produce out here in the Sahara Desert equivalent. Waluigi Pinball is, how the hell do I handle gambling? Is inside of a pinball machine. There's only a repeat of pinballs going up and down the course. You could argue that the casino that the pinball machine is in could make a profit off of gambling, but I'd argue it's not a business using the track's resources, and it's something external, so therefore, it's not profitable. Propeller Cup starts us with Sydney Sprint, which is a strong city track. There is working public transport which would require a fee to use, as well as some ships which could be used for tourists or imports and exports. There are also tolls to get on the freeway, as well as high-rise buildings around, making it a strong business city despite what all Australians say. Snowland is literally just ice. It's probably under these conditions the entire year, so there's nothing substantial enough to produce here, besides maybe wood. However, the trees are few and far between, and it's far from society, so yay! Oil costs! Mushroom Gorge has many high-rise mushrooms, as well as a mushroom cave where you can harvest gemstones. However, the gemstones are unsafe to retrieve and the track is on a floating island, making it difficult to sell the gemstones profitably. Sky High Sundae is made up of candy and desserts, meaning you'd get diabetes really quickly. The ice cream would melt and all of the other candy would expire, turning it from a sweet dream into, get me the f*** out of here, this stinks. Rock Cup starts with the reigning track of London Loop. London has many tourists around and many people that work abroad there. This can be seen in the many corporations around. The royal family would also make this track very profitable because of, well, I mean, look at them. They're swimming in profit. Boo Lake has a large water supply, however, oil costs need to be considered as well as the costs of purification. There isn't an inch of society nearby, and as far as I know, dead people don't drink water. Rock Mountain has a large source of potential minerals inside the cave, as well as a possible wood supply. But the issue with this track is the fact that it is high in the clouds. This just means that it is expensive to transport goods down to society from the track, making it unprofitable in my eyes. Maple Treeway has a massive wood and water supply. There's also a small town in the tree area for potential business as well as fruit on the trees. It's definitely profitable. Moon Cup starts with Berlin byways. Germany has a very strong infrastructure and the roads are extremely well maintained. There's public transport that likely requires a payment to use, and there is a strong economy with the large amounts of businesses present in the city. Peach Gardens is in Princess Peach's backyard, and just look at the hedges. The fact that they are that well maintained indicates expensive upkeep. There is not a paid entry to enter, and there is nothing to sustainably produce. But Merry Mountain is interesting, as it seems to be the main Christmas hub. There is a large town at the start of the track, as well as gifts that seem to be housing Santa's gifts for this Christmas season. The flying train would also be a huge tourist attraction and would bring about a pretty penny. The local dam could also supply water, making even more profit. Rainbow Road. What was going on in Nintendo's heads when they put 4 Rainbow Roads in this game? There's nothing to produce or business to be made, and the cost of space travel are astronomically high. The only potential product is something related to the moon, but in current society, it's impossible to turn a profit. Fruit Cup starts with Amsterdam Drift. There are a large number of windmills which gives it potential for a wind energy farm to supply electricity. There is also public transport which presumably requires a payment, unless you do some illegal shenanigans. The river cannot be considered as a water source due to it being highly polluted and contaminated, but there are many buildings with potential corporations that turn a high profit. Riverside Park provides a massive wood and clean water supply, albeit being a bit far from society. It would break even, however there's also an excavation potential inside of the cave, which should allow the track to turn a slight profit. DK Summit is a massive snowboarding course, and because it's on a summit, it should always be snowing, allowing it to be open throughout the whole year. Since it's a snowboarding course, it would be a massive tourist attraction, and with equipment rental, this track would turn an insane profit. Yoshi's Island has diamonds, however lawsuits may be filed because of working near an active volcano. Diamonds also can't be easily sold as there are no boats inside, leading to no ability to export the goods easily. Boomerang Cup starts with Bangkok Rush, which has tolls that lead onto the freeway. There's also some public transport that's available here, as well as fresh produce stalls and other profitable corporations present. Mario Circuit, again, has seating that charges a fee, but look at the castle. The fact that it's highly kept up, profits from the racetrack are going into it, making the track break even. However, it becomes unprofitable as only one race would happen here a year, similar to Toad Circuit's situation. Waluigi Stadium is a massive stadium with paid seating. A large screen likely streams the stadium's contents to external audiences on YouTube or Twitch, making it definitely profitable. Singapore Speedway is packed to the brim with skyscrapers and stadiums, where profit could easily be made. There's also a bazaar for smaller businesses to generate a profit, and there are large amounts of production potential. Feather Cup kicks off the 5th wave with Athens Dash, which is pretty interesting in the fact that it isn't actually represented as profitable in-game. There's plenty of ruined architecture that would bring in many tourists, however, there is free entry. There is a small town, but it isn't well developed, and there is little to no business available. This is the first city track that I deem not profitable in-game, which is a big change of pace from the other ones. Daisy Cruiser is a massive luxury cruise ship, which would require a massive entry fee to book a room on board. There are many rooms that can house hundreds of guests at once, and seems to be a highly packed cruise ship. Moonview Highway is a massive highway in a bustling city. There are tolls to get on and off of the highway, and in the main city there's evidence of global businesses. Diddy Kong also likes this city. Oh, not anymore. Squeaky Clean Sprint is literally your bathroom. You can maybe host a garage sale to sell any unwanted products, but it's not a consistent profit, and could only net you a few bucks. You could also not sell toilet water because it would also probably put you in prison. Cherry Cup starts in LA Labs. This track is highly profitable due to there being an oil field where oil can be drilled. Ships are also present that could provide imports and exports, as well as a large number of beach houses that tourists and residents could live in. Sunset Wilds is in some form of desert, and there aren't any goods to produce. There are a few Shy Guys that are wielding a pickaxe of some kind, but there isn't evidence for what they are mining for, so I'm just gonna dismiss it and say that they're just getting their hands dirty. Cooper Cape has a gigantic waterfall which indicates clean water, as well as a massive river to potentially harvest water from. The track also doubles up as a potential fishing spot, however the harvesting of either resource would bring about concerns about animal cruelty. Also, the track is just far from society. Vancouver Velocity has a huge wood supply as well as high-rise buildings. You get the gist, it's profitable. Rounding at the last wave, we have the Acorn Cup, and with it comes Rome Avanti. Rome is a massive tourist attraction, and the Colosseum alone would make a huge profit. Rome has many smaller shops and businesses, as well as a rich economy, which makes it a pretty profitable city. DK Mountain has a large wood supply, but it's in the vicinity of an active volcano, which would raise safety concerns. There's really not much else to it. Now, Daisy Circuit is interesting, as it's a city by the ocean and has Daisy Cruiser in the background, meaning we should include the profitable Daisy Cruiser with this track. The city is highly industrialized, and there are few ships to provide imports and exports. Daisy also has a candy business, and it wouldn't expire easily since it's packaged. Daisy really knows what she's doing concerning profits, just like Toad. Piranha Plant Cove is a track in ocean water which can't be purified cheaply. The ancient undersea ruins are also inaccessible to humans, and the underwater treasures and gems won't last forever. This would make it a temporary source of income, but not long enough to permanently last. Spiny Cup starts with the final city track of the game, Madrid Drive. There is a large football stadium where you can watch Liverpool beat Man City, and again, there are many businesses around. Rosalina's Ice World is a fully frozen over track. Anything related to the water is out of the question due to it being a dangerously low temperature, and there isn't much else barring a tiny town, but it's not big enough to have a profitable business. Bowser Castle 3 has really unsafe working conditions as well as nothing to produce and no business to house. And finally, another Rainbow Road. There are 5 of them! Since it's in space, there would be a crazy high travel cost, and there's nothing to produce, which would make space travel not worth doing with our current technology. So yeah, that was all of the tracks in the Booster Course Pass. If you don't include the real world tracks, 10 out of the 48 tracks I deem profitable. And if you include the real world tracks, I deemed a whopping 23 out of 48 tracks profitable, which is just under 50%. And here are 2 diagrams showing each cup's score in terms of profit margin, with and without the real world tracks. If you enjoyed, please drop a like and a subscription. It would motivate me greatly to make more content of this manner. And I have a Discord. The link is in the description below. Okay, bye.